We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Nolan Hawkeye Anthony YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. We are back at it, week 4 of the Iowa Hawkeye college football season. And this, of course, will be the Iowa versus Penn State preview. This is one of the marquee games on the Iowa Hawkeye football schedule, and we'll be diving into the team stats, some of the individual stats, and a few things like that. Of course, I'll be giving you guys my game prediction at the end, also weigh in on the positives and negatives of the Iowa Hawkeyes thus far. But before we get into any of that, I want to ask you guys to smash a subscribe button. Help your boy get to 2,000 subs by the end of the football season. At the very least, like, comment, share. And I just want to thank all of you guys who have supported the show up until this point. I'm tremendously grateful. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And without further ado, let's get into this. So here we are, folks. This is the ESPN matchup predictor. And of course, it's based off of either the Football Power Index or the SPI. I think it's based off of the Power Index. It gives Penn State an 86, pretty much an 87% chance to win this football game, leaving Iowa with a measly 13% chance to win this football game. We'll see where the rankings are at by the time this game starts. I think Iowa will be 24th or 25th in both the coaches and AP. Penn State will be, somewhere in the top 7. This game, of course, is in Happy Valley. Penn State home game, very important. And let's just go ahead and start off by looking at the individual stats, some of the team leaders for both teams. Cade McNamara, 38 of 71, 417 yards, 4 TDs, and 3 INTs. I have to say, guys, I've said it a few times now. I said it in the post-game show. By the way, he has a 30.4 QBR, good for 116th in the country. This is according to ESPN. I'll go ahead and slide it on over here. There it is, upper right. He just has not had the season thus far that I was expecting. I think he's telepathed a few throws, or he's given away a few throws, and he's underthrown some throws. He doesn't have the biggest arm to begin with. And I think part of it is on Cade McNamara, of course. Part of it is Brian Ferentz. When you have a quarterback like Cade McNamara, who is a short to intermediate passer, you have to take advantage of that. And I would love to see Brian Ferentz utilize some bubble screens, some slants, some comeback routes, things like that, that take advantage of his talent rather than his flaws, which is he does not have a massive arm. And teams will definitely take note of that if they already have. And if Iowa, more specifically, Brian Ferentz, does not find a way to help Cade McNamara be as successful as possible, we're going to continue to have a season like this. Now, somebody did comment in one of my videos. I think it was the post-game show for Iowa versus Western Midge. And of course, I thought it was a good comment. This is why I always read comments. He said that when you take into account the fact that Cade McNamara missed most of last year and missed a good portion of camp with the Iowa Hawkeyes, you have to take that into consideration. And I agree, that's true. And I had not thought of that yet, because, he still did have a decent amount of time with the Iowa Hawkeyes. But, when it comes to learning a brand new offense, a brand new scheme, You're coming off an injury. Timing is everything between a quarterback and the quarterback's targets. Hopefully, due to that, as the season progresses, that will remedy itself. Okay. I'm not going to go too far in that direction, but I do think it is worth noting at the very least. So we'll see if that picks up. Cade McNamara's connection with his wide receivers just has not been there. His favorite target thus far has definitely been Seth Anderson. When it comes to the wide receiver group, he definitely has targeted his tight ends the most. And, you know, to a certain degree, that makes sense. I mean, Eric All and Luke Lachey, even though Iowa will likely not be with Luke Lachey against Penn State, Iowa has an excellent tight end room, even with its backups behind Lachey and All. So on a certain level, it does make sense. But I would like to see Iowa incorporate some shorter passing, easier passing completions schematically to get the wide receivers involved, keep the defense honest, and get Cade McNamara's confidence up. Drew Aller of Penn State, 59 of 88, 737 yards, 4 TDs. Looks like he has 0 INTs. Rushing yards, LaShawn Williams, 19 carries, 164 yards. Kay Allen, 42 carries, 208 yards, 2 TDs. LaShawn Williams had a massive game against Western Michigan, absolutely put the Iowa offense on his shoulders. Caleb Johnson, the starter coming into the season, was out with an injury. Hopefully he's back against Penn State. I really do like the top, the 4 running backs that Iowa has, I think are all serviceable running backs. I think Caleb Johnson is has the highest upside of the current running backs in this moment in time. Just how physically capable he is. Like I said, hopefully he's good to go against Penn State. From that perspective, it was probably good to sit him against Western Mij. But I like definitely the top 3 RBs that Iowa has in LaShawn, Caleb, and Josiah Patterson. Josiah Patterson went out with an injury against Western Michigan as well, leaving room for true freshman Kamari Moulton and Terrell Washington Jr., true freshmen, to get some snaps. The leading receivers are Luke Lachey for Iowa, 10 receptions, 131 yards, and Kay Lambert, 13 receptions, 220 yards, 2 TDs. Here are the team stats. We will be looking at one more thing when it comes to the Iowa Hawkeyes and their individual stats. I want to show you guys the yards that the wide receivers currently have through 3 games, and it's not good, folks. Total yards, 302 to 467. Yards passing, 150 to 259. Yards rushing, 151 to 208. Yards allowed, 286 to 267. Pass yards allowed, 179 to 170. Rush yards allowed, 106 to 96. Penn State definitely has the statistical advantage over the Iowa Hawkeyes. Here are the last 3 for each team. Penn State has defeated West Virginia, Delaware, and Illinois. Not a bad first 3 games, defeating 2 Power 5 opponents already. Iowa has victories over Utah State, Iowa State, and Western Michigan. Let's look here at the team stats for the the individual stats for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And so Josiah Patterson, 104 yards, LaShawn Williams, 164, Caleb Johnson, 91. Receiving. No Iowa wide receiver has more than 75 yards receiving through 3 games. Seth Anderson, 4 for 68. Nico Ragaini, a.k.a. Nico Ragaini, a.k.a. Nico Ragaini, 5 for 48. And this is just crazy to me. I mean, Nico Ragaini is a 6th-year senior. He would have competed in NFL training camps if he was not on the Iowa Hawkeyes right now. You mean to tell me that in his 6th year, he is not as good. I mean, this guy is entering his prime. You mean to tell me that he's not better now as a wide receiver than what he was when he was a sophomore or junior as an Iowa Hawkeye? I mean, come on, that's crazy. Now on the flip side, the drawback to playing college football for 6 years is there's a ton of tape on you. There's a ton of film. And Nico Reganey has played a lot of snaps for the Iowa Hawkeyes. So, you know the player's tendencies. But that definitely has to improve. Let's look at a few team defensive statistics and offensive. Total defense, Penn State is 16th, giving up 267 yards per game. Iowa is 31st, right here, giving up 286 yards per play. Penn State 4.43, Iowa 4.27. Not bad, not bad. Let's look at total offense here. Well, I can already tell you, Iowa, I believe, is 119. I made a Facebook post about it in total offense. Penn State 26th, averaging 467 yards of offense per game. Iowa, as I said, is 119. Tied for 119 with Kent State. The only better news is that Iowa State is below them at this point. No, I don't care that much about Iowa State. But 302 yards per game for Iowa. We'll look at two more stats here. We'll look at scoring defense and scoring offense, just see where these two teams rank. Maybe rushing defense. We might take a look at that. Scoring defense. Iowa is tied for 18th. Penn State is 13th. They are giving up 11.67 points per game. Iowa is giving up 12.33, tied with Auburn. I mean, both have excellent defenses. I mean, these are two of the best defenses in the Big Ten, bar none. Iowa has been a bit shaky in a few regards. There's three things that Iowa's defense needs to shore up. They haven't been able to get a ton of pressure. They got more pressure against Western Michigan. They have given up chunk plays. Now, of course, if they don't give up the touchdown late to Utah State when they had their 2s and 3s in, they would be top 10 in scoring defense. But it is what it is. They've had a tendency to give up chunk plays. And again, better against Western Michigan. They were susceptible in the first two games to quick hitting plays, particularly pass plays. Scoring offense, Penn State 14th, averaging 43.7 points per game. Iowa is, I think, 70th. Let's look. Got him, 73rd, averaging 28.3 points per game. So far, Brian Ferentz is, on his way to achieving the vaunted 25 points per game. That is the last team stat that we will look at. If you guys want to check it out, you guys can go to the NCAA.com team stats. Lastly, guys, just my analysis of this game. This is definitely going to be a massive test for the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's on the road. It'll be in one of the toughest environments in the country. In the past, Iowa has, even when they have had their 8-win teams, 7-win teams, this has been an excellent game. One of the better games in the Big Ten. James Franklin, Kirk Ferentz coach teams. Iowa has gone to Happy Valley and competed really well in the past. The reason why Iowa is able to compete on the road as well as they do is because defense and special teams travel. And Iowa always has an elite special teams and elite defense. Drew Stevens did miss a field goal against Western Michigan. Hopefully he's able to get that out of his head and move forward. Penn State's Penn State is a really balanced team. They have an excellent defense, and their offense their offense is good. I wouldn't say that the offense is elite quite yet, but it's good. It's above average. And anytime you have a defense as good as, I've been saying, Iowa fans have been clamoring this for years when it comes to the offense. If we just had an average offense, the sky would be the limit. Well, Penn State actually has that. They have a really, really good defense, dare I say elite defense, and their offense is looking good this year. Now, has Penn State played a defense like Iowa's yet? No. Illinois does not have as good of a defense as they had last year, and West Virginia is not known for being a defensive ball club. So this is, and furthermore, Iowa's offense is not where I would have hoped after 3 games. There's some things that we've seen improvement, but we have yet to see a really complete game from the Iowa offense where, the passing offense is hitting, the run game hits, 120 yards, minimum team rushing. The offensive line did look good last week as far as running the football. The previous 2 games for Iowa, the pass defense pass protection looked really good, but it didn't look so good against Western Michigan. So again, we haven't seen that complete game. And I've already talked about Cade McNamara and him not being where I expected before the season after 3 games. Who knows? Maybe against Penn State, those things click. But the thing is, I would not bet on it, guys. If I was a betting man, it'd be very difficult for me to say that Iowa is going to fix all of these things against Penn State. That's just not the opponent that you do it against. Now, who knows? Maybe the competition and how big of a game it is gets Iowa up, and you never know when things click. Kirk Ferentz is always saying that you never know which week things are going to click. I do want to just show the preliminary spread. I think Penn State is a nearly a 2-touchdown favorite. Iowa versus Penn State line. Double-digit favorite over Iowa ahead of whiteout game. So, it's a battle of ranked teams and Saturday night's whiteout clash. 14-point favorite. So, again, you never know what game it's going to click, but I just ultimately, it's hard for me to buy into the idea that Cade McNamara and his connection with the Iowa wide receivers is going to click against Penn State, an elite defense. So, but Iowa fans, here's the thing. And I did pick Iowa to beat Penn State before the season when I did my game preview. The thing is, though, that good teams learn from their mistakes, especially their losses. And that is the potentially really good thing when playing a team like Penn State is it really does open your flaws. It opens it wide open. So 14-point favorite Penn State is. The over is 41, under 41, over and under 41. So, as an Iowa fan, that is kind of the underlying thing. Now, the one hope that Iowa has is twofold. One, their defense just totally smacking Penn State in the mouth and being the truly elite defense that we know they are. They get some help from the special teams. Caden Wetchton gets one loose in the punt or kick return game, or Cooper DeJean in the kick return. Hell, Cooper DeJean, Xavier Wanpa, whoever it is, gets a pick six. That's how Iowa wins this game. The other big one is if Iowa is able to have the type of running game that they had last week against Western Michigan, but I'm not going to bank on that. Okay. Penn State is definitely a far superior opponent than Western Michigan is. All right, guys, keys to the game. I've already said it. Iowa, if they're able to create some turnovers, maybe a pick six, something like that, and they can run the ball reasonably well, I think they have a chance to win this game. Of course, their defense is going to have to play really, really well. I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to go with Penn State. I just haven't seen the improvement that I wanted to see from the Iowa Hawkeyes thus far offensively. I think Iowa will keep this game closer than what the betting line is. I think Iowa only loses this game under double digits, under 10. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a last second win for Penn State. I mean, the games have been really, really close, except for the shellacking Iowa gave Penn State last year or the year before. My callback is not the best right now. So I'm going to take Penn State to win this game 22 to 18. Let's go 22 to 18. I think Iowa's defense plays lights out. Ultimately, Iowa's offense just puts way too much pressure on the defense. Penn State's able to get 22 points on the board. Iowa somehow musters 18 points, but this is going to be a hard-fought battle. It's going to be an excellent game. It really is. I don't think this will be a butt whooping either way. It'll be a really, really good game. Iowa fans, definitely stay tuned. And who knows, maybe Iowa is able to squeak out this victory. It'd be a massive win for the Iowa Hawkeyes. We'll see. Luke Lachey is likely to be out. We'll see about the status of Caleb Johnson and Josiah Patterson. And that's about it, guys. All right, guys, that is the game preview, Iowa versus Penn State. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Help your boy get to 2,000 subs. Penn State fans, if you guys want to check out the Big Ten Whip Around show that I do, I have a playlist for that. Go ahead and check that out. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Take a look across the Big Ten, give my power rankings, yada, yada, yada. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow and facts or feelings, because your feelings still matter. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Go Hawks. Bye-bye.